Part of the evidence that the universe is healing is that Marsha Blackburn is suing Jack Smith. Get him. 8 of the people being spied on are going to get him. Here's Marsha Blackburn. Welcome to Doug in Exile. Let's go.
Indeed, we have. And when you look at what happened with us, it's the First and the Fourth Amendment that was violated with the 8 senators, plus our speech and debate clause, our separation of powers, and the Stored Communications Act. All of those were violations.
When people say Trump is anti-constitutional, like many of my liberal friends go, oh, Trump, he doesn't care about the Constitution. I go, fine. Where were you at when your side didn't care about the Constitution? None of them said a thing. She just named 4 violations, 4 breaches. No Democrats cared.
Doesn't the message have to go from the White House? Like, doesn't Biden's team, somebody has to say,
oh, no, Ron, I'm going to be honest with you. Ron Klain, okay? Smart guy, good guy and everything, but he'd gone so far to the left and he pushed Joe left. Because I kept telling, when I first went over to the White House, I said, Mr. President, I says, you have the most liberal staff that I've ever seen. First time I went over. And he said, well, Joe, they tell me I have the most diversified staff. I said, we're not talking about diversity, sir. We're talking about batshit crazy. We're talking about people I've known, I've worked with in the hallway forever. And I know where they came and where they worked before. These are people real far left. And Ron put that team together. And I know that because I kept saying that your staff is pushing you too far left, Mr. President. You've never been that far left.
right.
And someone says about, I've always liked Joe Biden. We always got along well. Good man. I just don't think he lost the will to fight.
No Republican stood up and tore his beard out and ripped his garment and said, you can't do this to the Constitution. They said nothing. And if they don't care then, don't come tell us now.
And, John, the common thread that runs through this is all 8 were Republicans. We all supported President Trump, and we had valid questions about the outcome of the 2020 election. And one of the things that is so interesting on this is we thought that the wireless carriers received a subpoena in September for our records. But
of 2022.
We found out that Verizon actually received that subpoena in May
of 2023.
That was prior to the indictment of President Trump, which took place in August.
So I'm sorry, not September of 2022, September 2023. So they thought that after the indictment of Trump, then they went and looked at their records, but it didn't. It predated it. So they couldn't say, we were just responding to what we thought Trump did wrong when we went and looked at you guys. They preemptively went on a witch hunt for these guys. Before they got Trump, they went for them.
Of 23. And they received the subpoena in May of 23. So we know that they pulled what is called the toll data. That is every call we either made or received, the duration of the call, the individual and the number that it was to and from, and then also the physical location where we were.
Yeah, and that's got to be tough because imagine the bathhouse that Lindsey Graham was visiting during some of those calls. Ooh, who knows who he called?
When that call was either made or received. So yes, indeed, a violation of First and Fourth Amendment, and also, as I said, the Stored Communications Act, separation of powers. You're looking at so much infringement on this speech and debate clause, too. I left that one out. So yes, the infringement is deep and wide.
Yeah, and the work you were doing during that period of January 4th to January 7th, 2020 was clearly congressional work. Certification is something protected by the Constitution. When does the executive branch...
So they're anti-Constitution, just going to keep underlining that for you.
Just get to intrude on your work like that?
Well, they're not supposed to do that. And of course, as you are going through, as you're reviewing things, you do make phone calls. And it is... it just shows you how Jack Smith and Arctic Frost, they were so out over their skis. and they were out to get President Donald Trump, and they wanted to convict him of conspiracy. And of course, when you look at what they were doing with us, they were probably looking for obstruction or co-conspirator charges. And we're fully aware of what they did. I can assure you this, we will be suing the Biden DOJ, Jack Smith, and his CR-15 team, which of course has already been fired by Kash Patel, thank goodness. Right. And these guys just hated Donald Trump, and they hated us because we supported Donald Trump and we were standing with Donald Trump.
That is a political hit. We're going to get into more of the actual legal documents on that. But first, Medicare annual enrollment is now through December 7th. This is the time where all Medicare recipients can select their Medicare plan for 2026. My seniors, Doug in Exile audience, are getting plastered with mailers and robocalls where carriers claim to have the best plan, when in reality, they're just giving you the plans they make the most money from, not the one that's right for you. Chapter reviews every plan nationwide to make sure you're on the best one. Chapter can review your options in under 20 minutes. If you're already on the right plan, they'll tell you. If not, they'll help you switch. But look, here's a message from one of you. You wrote to me, thanks for the Chapter connection. Between my hubby and myself, we're saving close to $2,000 a year. Guys, what other channel helps you save $2,000 a year? That's why I'm so happy to be partnered with Chapter. They're actually good for you, but you're going to have to make the call. Look, I can lead the horse to water for free. An unbiased Medicare help. Call my friends at Chapter 631-961-8696. The number is pinned in the description and pinned in the comments. Tell them Doug in Exile sent you. Okay, now let's get back to Jack Smith and why we're going to laugh at him while he's sued into oblivion. Here's Julie Kelly, more evidence of the corrupt abuse of DOJ, FBI power to pursue Donald Trump and destroy the MAGA movement. As I've said before over and over again, Lisa Monaco is the source of the rot.
Speaking of Democrats, there's a report that there's a grand jury on Adam Schiff for apparent mortgage fraud. If he is indicted, should he step down as a U.S. Senator?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that. I will just say Adam Schiff is one of the lowest forms of scum I've ever dealt with in politics. He's a horrible human being, very dishonest person. I have no idea what's going on. You tell me that he's going to be indicted. I don't know. You could ask Pam. I don't know if she could say it. Probably you are allowed to say it, but I wouldn't know about that. I can only tell you he's a very bad, I think he's actually a sick person.
Here's Chuck Grassley over on Twitter. Just received this doc from the DOJ, proof that Biden attorney Lisa Monaco and FBI Director Christopher Wray all personally approved opening Arctic frost. This investigation unleashed unchecked government power at the highest levels. My oversight will continue.
He's coming. And oh, by the way, it's going to be worse this year. Why? Because he understands that there's a possibility he might lose the midterm, and that the power that he can wield now, having the support of those in the House and the Senate on Capitol Hill, might not be something he enjoys after the 2026 midterm elections. He's coming.
This is the document right here. I don't want to get into actually reading the entire thing. Let me see if I can pick out any paragraphs here. Here's memorandum for the Attorney General through Deputy Attorney General Christopher Wray, Director, approval to open a certain sensitive investigative matter investigation, purpose to obtain your signature of authentication. This is crooked, guys, and we got them dead to rights. Here's more from Julie Kelly. The sheer stupidity of the pretext of the Arctic frost investigation is mind-blowing. So just remember, Russia is Adam Schiff, Obama, and Comey, and John Brennan. This is a different one. This is Arctic frost. This is Jack Smith. Think of this. The Attorney General of the United States, Merrick Garland, authorized a wide-ranging criminal probe into a plan by American citizens to send pieces of paper to the archives to protest of the 2020 elections. A top NARA, the National Archives? NARA official testified the archives receive alternate certificates every 4 years, but Merrick Garland, at the behest of Lisa Monaco and Christopher Wray, turned a normal way to object to a presidential election into a criminal conspiracy.
I've said before, vengeance, retribution. The man ain't playing. And this is not me casting aspersions, making judgment, or doing anything on anybody's side. I'm just telling you what I know. The man ain't playing. The National Football League decides to elect Bad Bunny as its halftime entertainment. And shortly thereafter, we saw the Department of Homeland Security saying they have every intention of attending the Super Bowl, of being at the Super Bowl, outside the Super Bowl in Santa Clara, where they will be waiting for people trying to come to the Super Bowl, looking to engage in detainment and ultimately mass deportation. Trump knows this, don't care. It's not the policy stuff. It's when folks call him a felon. It's when folks wanted to put him in jail. It's what he perceives as an absolute abuse of power for him playing a game and mastering a game that the political apparatus had been playing for decades. But you tried to lock him up for the rest of his life. I'm telling you what has been told to me personally by people who have spoken to him. He's coming. He's not playing. Folks thought it was going to stop at John Bolton, his former national security advisor, or Letitia James, the New York Attorney General.
There it is. Now, that's very hard to explain in marketing terms, guys. Here's another one that's very hard to explain. Latasha James in a hideous giant red dress.
Good morning, Miss James.
This is her on her way to her real estate hearing indictment. Busted, leaving her fraud real estate home in New York.
Miss James, do you have any comments with the ICE raids happening downtown? Does the AG's office have any opportunity to do any?
We sent out information. We need video. Thank you.
I sent out the information. We just need video. Thank you. Hold on one second. Right there. Up, your slip is showing. Now, I don't know how many of you are VeggieTales fans, but I think we've already all seen Bob the Tomato. And on that happy note, my happy patriots will subscribe to this channel. We're going to keep you updated on the big news, which is Jack Smith getting sued by Marsha Blackburn. Don't forget, Lindsey Graham's in that group. 8 Republicans that the only thing that united them all was they were MAGA fans. They were pro-Trump. So this is a political witch hunt. Marsha Blackburn marked at least 5 crossings of the Constitution that Jack Smith, Merrick Garland also ordered under Christopher Wray. All 3 of them are busted. Now, Marsha's talking about just suing them. We want an indictment. We want a court case. We want them prosecuted legally. I mean, if they've got the evidence to sue them, and that'll get run through court to basically hopefully break Jack Smith forever for what he's done, and hopefully even land him in jail. This is the closest evidence that we have right now that he gets fitted for an orange jumpsuit, and hopefully we'll exchange Letitia James from tomato red to pumpkin orange also.
So what I am predicting here on your show is I think Brendan will ultimately be indicted. Vanessa, I mean, like I explained at the beginning of our conversation, this is really an unprecedented moment in American history. It really goes to show you what kind of dirty cops or dirty intelligence officials or officials generally that we as MAGA advisors or people working on presidential campaigns or a former president or a current president we're up against. I mean, when you have people like Brett and Comey who have either been referred for indictment, have been indicted, you have other people who were involved in the various persecutions of President Trump and other MAGA individuals, it really shows you how disturbing the situation was that we faced in 2016 and leading into the first Trump administration. Because if these people were running these type of investigations, and they themselves have been indicted and are facing potentially long prison sentences, it really is a bad perception of what the rule of law in this country is, how the intelligence agencies, the FBI, the CIA can basically fabricate evidence, exculpatory evidence, shred the Constitution for political purposes. What Jim Jordan did, who I consider a personal hero, it was basically showcased that no one is above the law, whether you're an FBI director or a CIA director, if you lie to us under oath and you try to obstruct investigations by the body that should be overseeing their agencies, then you will be held accountable. So what I am predicting here on your show is I think Brendan will ultimately be indicted.
And on that happy note, don't forget to call Chapter right away to get your Medicare taken care of. I'm Doug in Exile.